got suspended in 05, my rookie year, at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But I remember when you first got to the team and you came up and was like, hey, bro, I'm gonna follow you home. You know what I'm saying? Like when we sit out there in my garage and burn by my big on car, like bro, I was starstruck that whole day.
Yeah.
And I don't know why you knew. You know what I'm saying?
Ricky hiding in the motherfucker right now, boy. Relay y'all.
just knew. I think I just knew.
Welcome back to The Pivot. We got my dog Fred Taylor, should be a Hall of Famer. We have Channing Crowder. We just trying to get him to dress more. And look, we back at it. And when you out of moves, it's time for the pivot. And nobody has ever pivoted the way that I guess Ricky Williams has. The different things he's been through.
Another Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
But I don't know if it's gonna happen.
I agree about that. Rick, man, what you been up to though, dog? Like you one of those dudes. You one of those dudes that feels like we gotta go find you in the mountains with alpacas.
I'm not in the mountains or nothing. I'm just down the street in Manhattan Beach. But I'm always in the clouds. You know, I don't mean smoking. I mean, I'm always have big ideas. And now that I've lived a little bit, I'm an entrepreneur. So I'm doing what I can to get my ideas out into the world.
So what type of ideas, though? You say you're an entrepreneur. Like, what type of ideas are you trying to get out to the world? Or, like, what are these things?
Like Heisman, you know? And I tell people it's not about a trophy. It's about getting high. And I feel like I can get away with saying that to people and they laugh. You know, and
I just laugh.
And that's it.
I tried to hold it though, because I didn't know if you thought it was funny.
No, that's part of the thing is to be able to have a different kind of conversation about it. And I know, you know, back when I got in trouble, like I wasn't trying to have a real conversation about it, but everything I've been through, I'm like, this is what's up now. And so just creating a safe place for people to be real and tell the truth about what they do, how they relax.
And then Rick, I played with you, man, and it was back when you were the bad guy. Like, really, you were the bad guy.
Though, was he ever the bad guy? Like, I feel like nobody ever looked at him as the bad guy. It was almost like he was so misunderstood that people just threw it to the side, like, we're not going to deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, you think he was the bad guy?
I guess it was painted as a bad guy.
I got
you. You know how it is. We all been in that situation on a team, and if something gets too complicated, coaches be like, I don't want to deal with it.
Right. And you can say the F word, that's all you want to say.
But not only that, Rick, I think that's just the nature of the game. You know, if you have one instant here and the media pick up on it, then this media outlet picks up on it, and they pick up on it. Now other teams think this perception of you, you know, and they create this image. And everybody for a while, they were saying, this man must be crazy.
Yeah.
They thought you was crazy.
Yeah. Here's the punter,
Are you
Bradley
crazy?
Pinion on.
Are we all crazy like a little bit, though?
It depends how you define crazy, though. If I'm being real, I look at most people, and I think they're crazy.
As in people being different from you, or just in the sense that you feel like everybody got a little something?
My definition of crazy is it's a common definition of doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
Right.
And when people talk to me about playing in the league, I say it's not for everyone, because there's a certain level of excellence that's expected from us on a day in and day out basis. And I personally think anyone that doesn't live their life that way is crazy.
Right.
That's what I mean. And so again, I think all of us have to be crazy to do what we do, but that's the positive kind of crazy. You think about all the great men that we celebrate in history. All of them, some people call it crazy.
Who's the boy that cut his ear off? Because I know you smart.
Van Gogh.
Van Gogh cut his ear off?
I'm also smart.
Rick's smarter than you.
I don't know.
How is Rick smarter than me? How do you just assume that he's smarter than me? Like, that makes no sense.
I feel
like, no, it's because you want Rick to be smarter than me. Huh? Like, you are tired of being the little brother on the show, and you like, you know what? Every possible opportunity I get to chop RC down, I'm 5'11" already, dog. Y'all already bigger than me.
You remember his private school, right?
Listen, they gave him credit, but they gave him credit because he was good at football.
No, I was like truly honorable student. But I was,
This is the thing, that Rick understands the path. You don't understand the path is that you were top safety, so they gave you grades.
It's not why, though. I studied and I worked. Like, how come Ricky gets to come on this show, right, and get all this grace from YouTube, and then all of a sudden, you know, Freddie thinks that private schools are a farce, and that nobody should go to private schools, and that private schools make you stupid, or whatever he thinks. You think I'm soft, and then you ask Rick, you ask him a question that you thought he could answer because he was smart. I actually know the answer, but I'm dumb.
I'll tell you this, Rick starstruck me when he first got back.
Absolutely.
Ricky, that was Ricky Williams. You remember when we started talking about, we was in there, what was it, Sammy Moore's? Because Sammy had 3 kids. And we were in the locker room, and we started talking about who had the most kids. Okay. So we're talking. We were like, oh, Sammy got 3. And at the time now, I was running. So I might have had some kids, but they haven't claimed me yet.
So you had kids like Spade Game, 3 and a possible?
I have a couple possibles. I have 1 or 2 possibles. But it was so funny because Sam was like, I got 3. Another dude was like, I got 4. Another dude was like, I got 3. We're like, Rick, how many you got? Rick was, at that time, I think you had 4. Yeah. I was like, damn, Rick, you don't believe in condoms. You remember what your response was?
I probably said no.
Rick said,
at their own 25-yard line.
If God wants to create a life, how am I going to stop him from creating it?
That's some smart stuff. I like that.
And I looked and was like,
it ain't your job, Rick.
And I was like, because that was 05 when you first came back, and I was like, we in the locker room it's camp. When God wants to create a life, how can I stop God from creating that life? And I stopped believing in condoms because Ricky Williams just told me God
wants to create life.
God can beat a condom. And I was like, well, if Rick says it might be okay. But that was the thing.
That's a dangerous
from the gun. It's Brady.
This guy hung out around a lot of bars in Miami. Think about it.
We all been in the league. We all been around dangerous.
It's part of the locker room.
That's just part of it.
So, Rick, you know, we kind of talk about where you are now. Channing's bringing up some stories. I think it's extremely interesting. You have one of the greatest college football players of all time. A college football player that went to a predominantly white institution. How does that even come about? Like, how does that discussion happen where it gets to this point?
I think people have heard me talk about how passionate I am about football, and specifically college football, and even talking about my college football experience. I think at the University of Texas, I just changed the name of the field to Campbell Williams Field after Earl and myself. And to me, that whole process of how that went down was crazy.
Can you kind of explain the process?
Yeah, so to me, I think it's a template for how we can start to change things actually. Is that the current players on the team said something. And one of the alumni who Earl and I knew had a lot of money, his dad's name was on the field. And he saw the kid saying something, and he started thinking, you know, what can I do? And he realized my dad is dead, but I know 2 people that are alive that have a voice. So he reached out to the school and wrote them this letter and basically said, you guys don't change this.
And for them, a touchdown their last
and is this a white?
And when you start
so this is the idea, like the young people who are on the ground and willing had the energy to speak up, they said something. And the people with money went to the bureaucrats at the university and said, change it. And because he had money and had power, he got it changed. And it happened in less than 2 months. And then I was back at the university for this first game this year, and they had a reunion for the first African-American player that played at Texas, which wasn't until the mid-70s. And we were all up in the suite, and I was curious. And I walked up to him, and I said, did you guys know what you were getting into when you came in?
Was it just because of the time they were in, Rick?
Well, it was because of the time, and there weren't any African-American students.
I got you.
In the Southwest Conference, really. In Texas, you know, Coach Royal wasn't having any players. But Coach Royal saw that it was going on around the country, that more African-American players were coming to these schools, and so he pushed the university to allow some players to come. And so I asked all these guys, and they said, we knew exactly what we were stepping into. Exactly. And we knew that we were going to set an example for people to come after us. And that really just blew me away. And I started thinking about my college football experience a lot. And I went to Texas because I wanted to play big-time college football. I wanted to be on national television, and I wanted everyone to see me. And looking back, it was great. I did a lot of wonderful things, but I think that time of life in college is such a special time. I think if you're only focused on sports and not really engaged in the growing up, becoming a man process, I think it's a big loss.
Do you think that's harder for people that look like us to do in a predominantly white institution as opposed to HBCU around people who are like you, people who 100%. Think like you?
I think we're fetishized when we go to that. Okay. And I'm not speaking for all of us. I'm speaking for myself. You know, we go, like, at least for me in school, I could go on as a freshman. I could go out there on the field and I could compete with almost anybody. I went in the classroom. Texas was top 10 in class. I was a decent student. I was smart. But I spent so much time focusing on football, it was really difficult for me to compete in the classroom. And so I started to lose confidence in my intelligence, and it didn't really support me. And I wasn't around people that came from where I came from and understood who I was. And so,
do you think that people at Texas cared about how you progressed as a man, as opposed to the football player Ricky Williams that becomes one of the greatest
it's
players?
not even. I wasn't.
I'm asking him a question,
They're
Channing.
not worried about you as a human. You are RB1.
That's what I'm trying to ask
You
the
are
question.
safety one.
I was
Come
five
on
stars.
now,
I was 5 stars.
RC.
I was
Like,
5 stars.
I was
RB1.
okay.
Boy, you know, when I came out 97, we ain't had no damn stars.
Why would they give us $100,000 scholarship to make us a man?
But Channing, also, I'm asking you this question. Is it not, when you think of Florida, the position that you're in, the voice that you hold now, do you not think Florida is going to use that? Right? There's going to be a young man that walks into Florida this year that says, I want to be a part of the media. I want to be a part of broadcasting. And people are going to point to the pivot or the show you were on before this and say, look at Channing. Right? Look at Channing Crowder. Channing Crowder does this. Fred Taylor does this for Jacksonville. Channing Crowder does this for Miami Dolphins. Like, they want you to succeed. So my question is, do they put what they need to put into us to allow us?
No, it's not even close. I mean, they want us to succeed on the football field. Mm-hmm. But this is just what I noticed is I don't think they really care so much if we succeed in life beyond that. No, I don't. And I think obviously there's coaches out there that truly care about and really enjoy the process of helping young men become leaders. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when I think about my passion in football, and I think if I ever got back into the game, that would be the only reason. It's because it's this beautiful, especially college, it's this beautiful opportunity to help young men become leaders. Because to me, there is nothing like football as a tool to help young men become leaders. Nothing
And
like that.
how the hell did you go to Texas? You're from San Diego. Mm-hmm. How in the hell did you get to Texas, bro?
I'll tell you why. I was looking for the biggest school where I could start as a freshman. Where I went on my recruiting trip and it felt most like family.
Did it feel like that when you went on your recruiting trip?
Amongst the team, because when I went on my recruiting trip, it was during bowl practice and it was everyone was off campus. Okay. So I was just around the team, practicing for the bowl. So it felt like family. And I'm the kind of person where I'm an adventurer, so I don't mind adventuring into new territory. But it was culture shock coming from San Diego to the south. And then I went to New Orleans. That was
a short time
ago. Let's go chronologically. What was your? I don't know because you're old as hell. Fred's 72. Yeah, we're old. Yeah, y'all are old. But was it 5 visits? Fred, was it 5 visits? Y'all had 5 visits. I don't know. Y'all might have had 17. I don't know what y'all had.
Infinite
they just visit whoever they want to visit. Who is your 5? And did you ever even look at an HBCU? Who is your 5?
I wasn't even recruited by one.
Not one letter.
Not one.
Wow.
And it's unfortunate. Like, I look back and if there was one thing that I would have done different, and I'm not even just saying this, is I would have taken a strong look. Knowing what I know now, especially the quality of the experience. Like, Texas prepared me to be a good college football player. It did not prepare me for life.
That's real.
Not even, it almost anti-prepared me for life.
That's real. Why do you say it almost anti-prepared you for life as opposed to what an HBCU could provide?
Well, I'll say this, prepare me to be successful in life. Because I think so much about how we learn is what we see.
Okay.
Is what we see around us. And then at Texas, what I saw around me was a big difference in who had all the intellectual power and who had all the financial power and who was
first and 10 now from the 30.
And I think being around other people that look like me who were successful, doing things that I would love to do or I wanted to see myself doing. But at Texas, I didn't see very many people that looked like me doing that I was passionate about.
And so, like, you think if you were in this age, the age where Hugh Jackson is at Grambling State, the age where Eddie George is at Tennessee State, Primetime is at Jackson State, where these schools now believe they can get the Ricky Williamses of the world. Would you consider, do you think in this time you consider
it would be no question.
But fellas, I'm the same way Rick, where I remember talking to Jackson State coach. When I was coming out, and he told me, he was like, you're too big for what we're trying to do.
Right, so he's like, I can't even recruit you because of who you are.
I had Florida, Georgia, USC, Michigan, and he was like, we're not going to waste our finances recruiting you because you have a top.
Ricky said he didn't get a look. coming from out west.
San Diego for sure.
You know, definitely San Diego. You're talking about historically black colleges. They're in the South.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of guys, especially big players, they're not going to get a look to pull them in. They already got resources.
Yeah.
We're talking traveling, and back in those days, think about it. They can pop on a Rivals, tape or YouTube and see highlights of these players. Hell, even Instagram, it's just floating around the internet. Some guys from the West Coast, they can probably tap into that. But when we came out, they lacked a lot of funds, a lot of resources. So traveling out there was a waste. I got one letter. My first HBCU letter came from Tuskegee.
Okay.
Tuskegee.
Which is actually a great school.
Great school. Made here at the Cardinals' 17-yard line.
Right. Frisbee.
And this was a nice
Never seen it again.
Offensive coordinator
I just wasn't happy.
Well, Fred, what was your mindset that I want to go play in front of 80,000, or they can't get me to the league, or the education there isn't good? Like, what's the mindset to be like, nah, I'm cool?
I think you grow up watching, the big schools. You grow up, this is what's on TV. You don't see HBCU games on television. On Saturday growing up, I never saw that. But I was excited because that was my first official college letter.
Oh, wow, okay.
Was from an HBCU. I don't mention it. Because it's so far away, but that was my first letter.
And now they're inside the 10 as he's brought down at the 9.
The other thing, especially for someone like me growing up in California, is usually out west, black people are kind of together, and it's more homogeneous. Everyone kind of has to be the same because we stick together. And everyone I've talked to that had a different experience at a historically black college and university said what blew their mind was they got there and they saw there's all different types of black people.
Yeah.
And they said like somewhere where I would have gone there and I wouldn't have stuck out because I would have found.
So you feel like that the black people that were around you in San Diego, you guys were kind of the same or you weren't?
Well, we had to kind of be the same.
Okay.
Because it was only so much of us.
Okay.
Right? It was kind of us against them, so we kind of had to all be the same. Right? Like I noticed when I went to Atlanta, okay, I saw all kinds of different kinds of music.
Right.
Like punk rock, like even thinking about different kinds of music. Where I grew up in, like everyone listened to the same music.
Yeah.
And if you kind of went outside, people will try to, pull you back in. So I just think the diversity with inside of our culture, I think, was lost. And I think it's lost even in these big universities.
Atlanta's something different.
Hey, bro, why you gotta turn every show into that, man? See that? Every show, bro.
When they bring it up, I gotta let them know Atlanta is different.
Every show, it's like, oh, look at Channing. I go outside the box and I color outside the lines.
No, and you color in the lines and you sit in your house and you play Sudoku.
I love Sudoku.
Life. I know you like Sudoku. Me and Rick experienced life. We enjoyed Atlanta. You won't go to Atlanta.
I've gone to Atlanta many times.
You'll be Atlanta. You won't be a shit.
Hey Rick, so you you talk about the homogeneous, atmosphere of being in San Diego. Like, what were you like growing up? And did you feel the need to adapt to how the people were around you, or were you honestly like that?
I mean, the homogeneous nature, I think it exists in communities where you're a minority. The minority has to stick together. So I think even on a football team, right, or at a big university, predominantly white university, it's still kind of all the black people hang out together. A big part of it was I grew up and my mom worked at night, and my parents separated when I was young. Okay. So I really didn't have anyone telling me what to do. And so in a positive sense, I had to figure things out for myself, but in a negative sense, I had to figure things out for myself.
Right. Catch 22.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I did because I learned how to think for myself. Mm-hmm. And I think like all kids, we try to find a place to fit. And I used to get made fun of because I was kind of dirty.
At the
31-yard line. Cookie and say that I was black on the outside
in San Diego,
and white on the inside. This is what I'm saying. Yeah, I remember when I was in middle school. When I was out. I was outside in the playground and two dudes came up to me and they just called me a punk. And they just like beat me up and like put me on the ground. Just for no reason. I mean, because I didn't understand what was going on. I just like in my mind, I didn't understand why dudes, when I wasn't even doing anything, would just walk up to me for no reason and just start beating me. And then I realized, okay, I can't be a punk no more. And then I started playing sports, and that's when it was my way to prove that I was black because I could run you over, I can run faster than you.
You had to prove your blackness through sports.
Yeah.
You know, you've heard so many people. I've heard kids say, "This is all I got, coach." Yeah. Right? I'm coaching kids. This is all I got. This is the only way to not be there, or to actually have parents say, "Look, I can't afford this. This is the only way. You don't have to stay here." Do you think a lot of what we deal with is proving ourselves through sports in many different aspects?
I think it is. And honestly, it's crazy because my father he played for the Dolphins and Buccaneers. My dad played ball. So like once I started playing and like I had success, this is my way, and it's so funny. All four of y'all have said this. My way out.
Now Murray.
Freddie, he can't count either.
He said all four of y'all.
Freddie, right.
My bad,
Freddie count.
Right.
My
We got him an advocate for his birthday.
Able to get off the field here on
Hey, now we ain't getting one of them joints where the ball's bounce on the outside. You know what I'm talking about? Where you can like,
you talking about that? Those things? Well, it'll take 14 hours to figure out what's going on. My bad, Freddie. But we heard that this is my way out. This is my way out. And why couldn't my way out be an astronaut? Why couldn't my way out be?
Because it wasn't supported.
How many astronauts you seen look like you though?
When I was in school and I got an A, like my mom would say okay, but no one was saying like let's push you. When I went outside and I was the first one around the field, everybody was like, that's where they pushed me, and so I got more positive reinforcement for those things that I did for my intelligence.
Even at that point, the HBCU stuff.
Offense and defense are going
would you want to go and coach or mentor?
It's the only way. It's the only place I would go.
You wouldn't coach at Texas
just because of my history. I know that would be a lot for a university to have to bring me in because if they bring me in as a head coach, I'm not going to stop smoking, and I'm not going to tell my players not to smoke. Okay. So they know that if they bring me in, that like I'm gonna be real.
But Rick, so like if your players though, in a situation where if your players have to be drug tested in order to play, can you not have the conversation of, hey guys, I'm not saying smoking is wrong, but as far as this structure is put together,
that's exactly what I would say.
And that's okay though. That's what your coach is supposed to do.
Situations as well.
Didn't we have that conversation?
For the defense, they can't get the stop here.
We used to, and I break it to them, the CBA. They tell you when you're getting tested. Mm-hmm. It was April 9th or April 7th.
And if you ain't smart enough to stop smoking from there, you're a real dude.
It was 420, which is ironic.
So it was always a month before, and all the dudes that smoked on the team would text each other.
39-yard line.
Hey, bro, tighten up. Or just little stuff. And you would educate the young players, and I'll tell them, I don't know if Big Truck wants to hear this, but I'll tell them, keep trailing. Keep trailing, explain to me. He was like, bro, you got to stop smoking now. They're going to test you in the next 3 months, and you can smoke the next 9 months.
And so, like, as a non-smoker, that seems really easy. Like, I got an opportunity, I was on an executive board, right? And, like, when me and AB actually got into it, was because I was asked on TV if I had teammates that smoke. And I was like, I do, and I think they're great people. I said, and so because of that, I believe they should lower the limits of testing when they smoke. I was like, because these guys, they don't do anything. Like, it helps a lot of people. But when you look at it, I always said, when a guy fails a drug test, that's a decision-making problem, not a drug problem. Yeah. Right? If you fail a drug test for weed, you just didn't make the decision to stop early enough because they tell us what it is.
I think you put that in the hat with if you go out drinking and driving. You have an opportunity, to call a car, to get a car, get a homeboy, somebody to drive.
Right.
It is a bad decision, but guys get lazy too.
What happened with you, though?
So yes,
that was you were trying to get to anyway.
It's just what Chad is saying. What he said was the vets. When the young guys come in, the vets let them know what the deal is. Okay, so I was playing. Drafted by the Saints, everybody knows.
From the gun,
in New Orleans, the drug test was always training camp.
Now he lets it go.
First day of training camp, you get that little paper in your door, 6:38. Okay.
As a former defender,
I traded to Miami. Nobody told me.
After that one because when he breaks out of the pocket and you face a mobile quarterback,
and so I got to the facility one day and they said,
problems in your secondary. They were able to force that incompletion.
Correct.
I got a story I almost don't want to tell, but I got a story. But
whenever do you have a story that you don't want to tell?
Were you ever surprised when you failed a drug test?
It's that kind of surprise where you're not surprised that you failed, you're surprised you got it.
And that's where it hit.
I'm not a rule follower. I'm not. And I'm the kind of person where if someone tells me I can't do something, not that it makes me want to do it, but I'm kind of like, wait a minute. And I agree that it is a decision. It is a decision-making process. And I think sometimes we're torn. Sometimes inside what we want and outside what we want are different. And I think that's when we get stuck. And I think so much of me on the outside obviously could appreciate the perks of being a professional football player. But I think so much of me on the inside hated it. And I think I was. Well, I hated that I couldn't. At least for me, I didn't feel like I could be myself. There were so many expectations of how I was supposed to act, and it was my maturity that I had to realize that I have to stop caring what people think and just be myself.
I'm from the NO, man, and like I remember the excitement and also the criticism of when Mike Ditka drafted you. He trades away the entire draft for Ricky Williams, which at the time is crazy, but people weren't also considering how great of a college football player you were. Like I remember the whole dress thing. How did that come about? And how when you look back at it, you feel about that situation?
It's one of those things where my experience of it was I thought it was funny.
No, I thought it was super.
I thought it was funny, but when I did it and I saw everyone else's reaction to it, that's what I had doubts about. Where I had regrets. Wasn't doing it. It was I was shocked that people would respond that way. But Dan Le Batard and I were close friends. We're still our close friends. And he wrote a piece about me for my rookie season. And he said, we're trying to do something to depict that you and Dick are married. It's going to leave him with a third and about 3 to go. Spent all those picks and pretty much, if it doesn't go well, it's going to get ugly. And so we went back and forth for a couple of months on different ideas. And one day they said, what about a wedding dress? And I just started laughing because I thought it was funny. And then I was like, sure. And then when we got to the shoot, I had to put the dress on, and that's when I started to think, like,
it's a damn dress.
Did you think about it when you put the titties in?
I didn't have to put titties in.
Rick, I saw the picture, Rick.
There was no titties in. That's why
you had titties.
Hey, that boy had pecs.
I was doing push-ups.
You have never lifted before, so you don't know what pecs look like. You don't have no muscles.
I've seen the picture. It was stuff underneath that. It was no titties. But that was you.
I'm just that guy that's in it for me.
So what was the experience like?
It was interesting. It was interesting.
Did you learn anything from it?
I did. I think I had an appreciation for what it feels like to be discriminated against for your sexual preference. Just that idea of putting yourself in other people's shoes and how, even though I'm a football player, most masculine football player, that because I put on a dress for 2 hours, all this talk starts. And just how that,
do you think people questioned your sexual preference because of that?
Well, I think they were questioning my sexual preference before that, but I just gave it just added to the questions.
And Rick, we hung out. You like
one. Give to Fournette.
Rick done messed me up before. I was sitting there, we sitting there at Prime 112, and they walking in looking at Ricky, and I'm like, damn, you was my girl. Why you worried about Rick? Ain't worried about you.
He's a superstar.
Yeah, he's a superstar.
He's a superstar.
But from that whole situation, Rick, from that whole thing with the dress and all that stuff, did you move forward? Like to a point where you have to see that I'm bigger. Because my understanding, like even talking to you, knowing you 15 years ago, that I don't think you knew what the fame was of Ricky Williams. I don't think you knew Heisman Ricky Williams. I don't think you knew, like, even when you got back to the team in 2005 after the suspension and you came, like, I was starstruck by you. But when you walk into the locker room, like, I would even come in the shower, and I would get closer to you in the shower just because I'm showering with Ricky Williams. I wasn't trying to.
First off, time ago, you took a shower? Because we all know you don't really bathe like that.
It was once a week. Bro, why are you so nasty? I'm a nasty fourth. That's a life quote. When did it click to you that I'm not the normal guy walking down the street? I'm not the guy serving a barista.
Nowhere to go here.
It still hasn't.
The offense will recover.
It still hasn't. It wasn't. I just never really bought into it. So much, because for me it was really. But for me it was. Real talk, it was really about the game.
You love football.
The game, I love it.
Ready to go
I love it. Like as I'm sitting here, I'm starstruck because I've seen everyone here play.
Still enough time to try to string a few plays together, maybe get
both of y'all like that, bro. I hate both of them.
But there's something about like size and speed and like graceful, and someone gets the ball and like you really know it can go anytime they touch it.
Now the Bucks going to use the first of their timeouts.
As
they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. After the sack, it's second and 19, and the road gets a bit
to go from a big university like Texas, NFL number 5 overall. Right? The world was given to you. Well, you earned it. You earned it. I don't want to.
From his own end zone now, it's Murray.
It's both. We got to do both.
Forced down to his left.
I love it.
And wind up with positive yardage.
You know,
it's a gain of 3.
Me of college. Not
now
the
it's
big
third down.
Football part of it.
Bucks going to go ahead and use
in
the
Canada, you can only
second
have a certain number of Americans on the team.
As they'll stop it with 25 seconds to go here in half number 1.
It was just back to the basics of football. It wasn't the hype. It was just football.
So throughout that time, were you still in the NFL program or anything?
I was in the NFL drug program, but they weren't. I found out after the first 2 months they weren't sending anybody up to test me. And so it was like I was waiting to see, and then when I saw they weren't, then I was on the team. You know, go over to somebody's house, play Madden all night, and go over there, smoke, and chop it up. And that's another thing. Like, there's other ways to bring for fellowship, but I found there's nothing like guys getting together, passing something around.
And so, like, we've moved to a different time in not only sports, but in society, right? To where mental health awareness is huge everywhere, but more so in the black community than ever. It was kind of something that was taboo for us. And so in sports, you know, whether it's Kevin Love or all these different athletes speaking out, we tend to run to back up our brethren in these situations. And I remember being younger, watching you do interviews in a helmet after practice, and honestly being like, I don't understand it. You know, like why is he doing it? Whereas today, if you did that same interview the exact same way, the world, Twitter, Instagram, media will be running to your aid to say there is something he's dealing with. We need to help him. But you are actually kind of villainized for this. How did that affect you in the way you felt about yourself, and also in the way you felt about people around you supporting?
Back to what I said earlier about even then, when I looked about around the world and the media and people that I was dealing with, I didn't think there was anything wrong with me. I thought there was something wrong with them. And so I don't think, I mean, maybe some people would obviously say he didn't help, but I think hopefully, I think nowadays people would say, yeah, we need to look at the way the media treats athletes. Is that athletes are human beings? Because I think things have changed, and I think one of the major things that have changed is we see athletes more as human beings who have a voice.
Let's get out of here.
Now we could see points the other way here. Characters on a video game. Because that was the whole point of wearing a helmet. I'm a sensitive person, so
was it strategic though, Rick?
No, well, it started off as a feud, and then it turned into something that was more strategic. I was trying to express something that when I spoke with my mouth, no one listened, and so I had to take action. Because for me, sitting there and knowing who I am and listening to the media ask me questions and feel like they don't care who I am. They're trying to make me be something else and then ask me questions where I have to answer a certain way. But when I answer the way I feel, they say I'm avoiding the question or I'm doing this. And for me, I was like, what makes you guys set the rules? Right. And like, if you're coming to me to ask me questions, then I'm the one who sets the rules. And so it was just like claiming my own agency in that whole situation.
But through that time, Rick, do you think the NFL did enough?
Hell no.
Ready to go with their next
drive. Like, you're watching one of your top running backs. Like, we saw what happened. Saints traded away a entire draft to get you. Like, you were a dog, bro. Heisman Trophy winner. And you come in the league, and now one of their stars is wearing his damn helmet during interviews.
Yeah.
Nobody reached out to you. Nobody said anything to you. Nobody sent you a number to talk to. NFL did not look at that as a problem.
Maybe you're not hearing me. Okay, what I'm saying is the problem wasn't with me. The problem was with the NFL, from my perspective.
Wow. Certainly
from my perspective. Right, and I'm a kind of person where I just figure, like, my number one demand in life is that you have to treat me like a dignified human being. And if I don't feel like that, then I'm going to act a certain way. Regardless of who you are, regardless of how much money you're paying. That's just me.
Yeah. And
that makes me, if that makes me crazy, then I'm 100% crazy.
Listen, what does crazy mean to you?
Not so much crazy, rebellious, because there's a set of rules that, you know, we all have to abide by.
But the rules were not made for us, players or us, black people. The rules in this country were not made for us. A matter of fact, a lot of the rules were made for anti-us. But I think the only way that changes and the rules come to some kind of like middle ground is if we rebel against the bullshit.
Shotgun now from Murray.
And I feel like everything I rebelled against was bullshit. I don't feel like I rebelled against anything that makes sense. That makes sense to me.
Your rebellion of what you did, how you were, social anxiety, which I saw. Me, you, and Ronnie Brown were sitting in Prime 112 one night, and it was me, Rick, and Ronnie. It was 3 of us at a table. It was Friday night, and everybody was around. And me, Rick, and Ronnie sitting there, went to the football store, having a good time. And then, I'll be honest, some girls walked up that I knew. And I said, sit down. So we pulled that little, you know what I'm saying, the little square table that turned into a circle. So we pulled it up. And we were there for an hour with Rick. And we're talking, we're having a good time. And then we pulled a table up. And then 3 more people sit down. And I saw Rick kind of go into more of a shell. And then some more people come up. And we pushed 2 tables together. And I see Rick even shrink more. And that social anxiety. I was one of those guys that thought like that, you know, mental health thing. Like, it was one of the times that I knew, like, I watched your social anxiety in person. I watched it in real life.
And if he flushes out,
is that still there for you? Like, is that still there where, you know, it's just us now, but if 10, 12, 15 people start sitting down and goal.
So it's funny. I do a little thing on Dan Le Batard's podcast. And last week we sat down. I sat in my own house. I sat down and there was a new person on the screen. And I noticed when I sat down that I got kind of like moody. And Dan was like, "Oh, here we go. We got Ricky Williams moody today." And he said, "Who is it? Is it this person?" I said, "No, it's the girl." And they were like, "What do you mean?" And so I said, "Hey," I talked to her, and I said, "What's your name?" And she told me her name. I said, "What's your story?" And I said, "Give me your 30-second version of your story." So she gave me her 30-second version of the story, and then I was good. So I'm just the kind of person where if I'm gonna with somebody, I want to put you on a deep level, and I get like that to see, like, can we go there?
Murray.
And that's just me, and I think probably too much. I lean on that too much, and so it causes anxiety. But now, I don't get anxious, but I'm like, okay, this, like, where this party is going is not that interesting.
Right, you gotta be able to observe the bullshit. So I can talk myself in too. You know, I have a little bit of social anxiety. I might have a drink or two and kind of loosen up a little bit. But majority of the time, it's 30% social anxiety and 70% let me check out the bullshit. You know, I'm not just gonna open up to everybody that's brand new to the section or that just coming to the table. Why? You know, I listen, you know, more than I talk. Even on the show, you know, they want to deem me as Freddie's the OG, yada, you know, all that kind of stuff. Let me listen and hear everybody out first. Because the loudest person is probably the stupidest in the room.
Huh?
And that ain't me. Not you, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Why you looked at him, though?
Not you.
And then he hit you with 2 hands, too. The loudest person
with the old curl fingers.
I'm like,
and maybe some renewed pressure on
give it to me.
Yeah.
I'm not taking the chance.
No.
You can take
no.
I'm generalizing. But that's me. You know, that's always been me. So I can kind of, you know, I feel you.
I'm to the place now where I still, like, come more inside. I'm not as, like, anxious and nervous about it because I know this is just me. But a lot of people, they expect a football player to be a certain way, and so when they see that, it's almost an overreaction. Where people that know me, they know, oh, that's just great.
To that point of, like, what you were going through. So you're the best running back in the league.
I really don't think about that. Like, for me, I was so focused on, like, what I had to do. Like, I was that nerd that's watching film. Right, we put the zone play, and I'm watching all the cut-ups. So I was so focused on what I did that I wasn't really.
Do you think because of some of the outside perception of you, people missed out on how important football really was to you? Because I'm gonna say, even from the outside, for me, like, to hear you say that right there is almost a revelation for me. Do you think the others...
As someone who saw me practice on a daily basis.
Right, we didn't know. You see what I'm saying? All we got was media, you know?
Yeah.
RC, if he breaks a run at the 20, he's going to run 80 yards to the end zone. I thought he was
crazy. I love that.
I thought he was nuts. I saw him one time when he first came back, 05, and he hit a hole, and that was, God rest his soul. I don't even want to cry. Junior say out. Junior was on the team. You know the story I'm about to tell you. Junior didn't practice hard because it was Junior say out. And Junior ran up in his gap. And I wasn't starting at the time because it was that time of Junior say out. There's no way my sorry ass was going to start.
Right.
And I see Junior run up in the B gap. And I see Junior eject out the B gap. And I see Rick just keep running down the sideline. And Junior got up. Junior said, I took his helmet off and threw it and said, y'all motherfuckers don't know how to practice. And Junior quit practice.
Was it because Ricky ran?
Ricky ran his ass flat clean over. Because when the OGs is playing, like, you ain't trying to run me over.
Get respect.
I'm not trying to knock you out.
Right.
So Ricky practiced like he was a rookie. Right. Even when he came back. This is after Ricky was a Pro Bowler.
Rick practiced like an undrafted free agent.
When Rick came back in 05, and this was my rookie year, so I'm playing like hell, and he stumped my damn shoulder a couple times. You gave me some stingers, and I'm going to need some money because I don't know my right shoulder's right. But Ricky practiced in 05 after going to Pro Bowl and being the top pick in the New Orleans stuff. Like he was an undrafted free agent every practice. It took it to the house. And it blew my mind because I was starstruck. Right. When Rick walked in the locker room, I wasn't starstruck by two of the people. Lawrence Taylor, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, and Ricky Williams were the four people that ever starstruck me in my entire life.
How does that feel, though, when somebody you play with puts you in a conversation with not only three of the greatest athletes of all time, people who people feel like are the greatest to ever do what they did as a job?
Well, I think to me, what it is that he saw me work.
Clock running under 4
to
play now as they come up on 1st and 10.
What they do on Sunday.
Into the red zone,
to me, so much of what I did was just the work. Even in the weight room. When I showed up to work, like every day in Austin, if I could walk back to the locker room, I just
Boy, that one was well read defensively.
I didn't hit it hard enough.
What people fail to realize is that the NFL has been around for more than 100 years. Throughout that time, it's been thousands of running backs. There's this exclusive club that once you attain that level, pretty much you're elite of the elite. And Ricky's attained that level with the 10,000 yard rushing club. You're 31 on that list. Yeah. How does that feel? Was it a goal?
It was because of the way my career went. I felt like with all the ups and downs and suspensions that if I could walk away with 10,000 rushing yards, that I felt like I can say I did my thing in the
31 of the best running backs to ever.
In the history of the game. And you know this, because the key is longevity, especially at the running back position. Can you be productive over the long term? Otherwise, you're not getting you got Fred or Fred got you. Fred got me.
They'll try to run it in with Jones. And he'll take it into the end zone.
You got Rick?
We both had our own different adversities. Mine was due to injuries for the most part. That slowed me down.
And people use that against you. Yeah, when you talk about the Hall of Fame
even right now. But from a talent standpoint, and pound for pound, I've always been a fan of Ricky. I remember when New Orleans came to Jacksonville to practice.
Yeah.
It was early on. I think it was maybe your first or second year. Right. And knowing who he was, I was a fan of him in college. I went over, we found each other, had conversations. I've been a fan ever since. But, I could say, he was always one of my favorite backs to watch, throughout our era. In terms of, I got Ricky or he got me, if I believe that. Yeah, I believe that if we, under certain circumstances, it could have gone either way. He's a bad mother.
After the long
Rick, what was it like when the Wildcat
It was great because you know how it is in your room, right, in your position. Think about the Wildcats. We had four of them. Okay, 4 running backs on the field at the same time. And it became probably 20% of our offense. And so it was great that the whole room was getting contributed. And being able to spend time with Ronnie like that was great too. And beat up on the Patriots.
Do you ever watch football right now and see the Lamar Jackson, the Kyler Murrays, the Cam Newton, these different quarterbacks who have zone read in their game, who do all the RPOs, and ever think back to yourself like, man, like this is part of what
we did it.
started.
We did it. We definitely started it. Because I think it was one of those things where NFL coaches would say that's what they do in college. That's not going to work here. We had so much success. We had so much success doing it that it stuck. I mean, we even had Ronnie like just doing his own read, where he either was giving it to me or he was taking off.
To throw is
crushing people.
Did y'all think that was gonna work? Cause we did.
Hell nah.
Oh, okay.
Hell nah. But we were. I think we were 0-2. And going up to New England, and we were like, let's try. Let's give it.
Let's go out. Let's see. Because we bashed y'all's head in at practice.
Okay,
in that
game on.
Wildcat.
Don't go
We
anywhere.
tore y'all's ass up. So when y'all got into it, we were like.
Because you guys saw it every day. We ran the Wildcat every single day.
Percentage play was better than not having a chance at all.
What was the funnest time in your football career? I'm talking about high school to college to any time. What was like the time that you enjoyed football?
On the other side, you get that hands team ready.
Really?
No doubt about it.
Not high school, pros,
And a
college.
dangerous
What was it
throw
about
there
college?
as that's
I
knocked
just love my
down
teammates.
and
It just was like it was like a
So
family.
unable to throw
So
it
with
in
college
for two
being your
from the
best
two.
experience,
Let me ask you,
what
as
do
a
you
former
think can be
DB,
instilled
what
at the
changes
lower
there
levels,
around the
the
goal
high
line
school
on a
levels,
two-point conversion
to
as far
help
as how
people
you're
like
defending
us
it?
You just make sure
reach
you
their
never
ultimate
back up and you
potential
never
and be
retreat.
successful?
You
That I
establish
think
yourself
when we talk
really
about
on
our
the line
ultimate
of
potential, it
scrimmage,
has to go
put your
beyond
heels
just what
on
we
the
do on the
goal line
football
at
field.
worst.
Because
And
to
if
me,
they're
what
going to throw the
what I
ball,
did on
make
the
them throw
football
it over
field
your
is
head
train
because
me
they're
to
going to
get
run
the
out of
most out
space because
of
of the back
all
of the
my
end
other
zone.
potential.
Never let
So
a guy
I
catch one
think,
in front of
you
you.
know, when I was a kid, they would
Fourth
always say,
quarter,
"What's your
they
backup
felt like
plan?"
they needed
But
the football
for me,
back. Unfortunately, they couldn't
even if you
get
play
it.
a long time, you
And
still got half your
I
life.
know
It's
we
not a
brought
backup
analytics
plan.
into the game,
You know, so
and
I think
someone
just
has
getting
said
people
here
to
that the
think
data
about,
says that
even
when a
if you
team's
are making
expecting
the
an
league, how can you
onside
use that
kick
as a platform?
80% of the time,
What are your
the
larger
team
goals?
expecting
Like
it,
you
they
think
do
you talked
actually
about
recover the ball,
being from
which is
San
what we saw
Diego
here.
and the way
I
you
just wonder
had
if
to
that
not
number is
necessarily
much more
perform,
of
but the
a
way that you
anecdotal
guys
type of a number. Kind of
banded
like when
together
the coaches tell us,
as
well, when you score on
minorities, right,
special
and as
teams,
African
93%
Americans.
of the time you
What
win the
would be
game.
your
I'm still
message
waiting
to
to see
those
that number
kids, or
is
what would you like
empirical.
those kids to
First
be
play of
able
the drive goes the
to
wrong
have, to
way.
hang
Here's
on
second
to,
and 12.
that when they're sitting around like
Again,
us
it's
at this age,
Jones.
they feel like they've been
That's a
supported
gain of 4
through
here in
life,
the
and they feel
fourth
like they've
quarter,
accomplished
with
the
them
things that they
leading by
want to
4 on the
accomplish.
So
scoreboard.
I
The
think
Cardinals
support
forced
is
to
from
burn
my
their third and final
experiences, and my
timeout
experiences
as they
tell me
get it
that
right at the
I didn't receive the
32nd
proper
mark of
education.
this fourth
Really?
quarter.
Wow.
And so
High school, college?
any of it.
Okay.
The best education I got was in Sunday school. Okay?
Now
Because what I learned there prepared me to handle all the other BS.
Looking left
And so
side,
I
he's
think
got
of a
man.
program
That's
where
Jones.
kids,
And they're able to
middle
get this
school,
one
maybe high
past the
school,
30 to the
kind of like
25-yard
Jewish
line.
people, they have a
Now the
program
Bucs
where
gonna use
they
the first
take
of
them
their
back to
timeouts.
Israel,
It's just their first. They've
and
got
they get
2
to
more
visit
to
and have like
use
a cultural
here in the
program
final
and understand
stages.
their roots. Right. And I feel like if someone would have taken me to Africa and like showed me my roots, and I would have saw like a shaman and a witch doctor and seen them cooking all the herbs, right? Then I wouldn't have felt so alienated when those things felt like they were part of who I am. And I think we've been uprooted,
That's Miller.
and I think
This'll
we
be
just
a
don't
short
really
gain
know our
of 3
roots.
before
So
he's
I think
brought down
some
at
kind
the
of
22.
cultural program
The
to let
Bucs
us know
gonna go
that we
ahead
are
and use the
kings.
second of their
And
timeouts.
that getting back, like you said earlier, that you want to coach at an HBCU.
Yeah.
And I'm wrapping it around with
That's
it. But
real,
that's
though.
what you want to see.
I look at people, and especially these past couple of years, they talk about white privilege. I call it white ignorance because a lot of people, not all of them, but a lot of them, they don't do well in adversity. And I think our strength is that when kids are fans, we show up, right? And that's what you need in life.
The world has taught all 4 of us to show up physically.
You know
what I'm saying? Super Bowl, Hall of Fame.
Potentially a game changer.
You
And I
stepped
just
Hall
got to
of
think to
Fame.
myself at this point.
And then I did okay. But like it showed us that we showed up physically when the lights were on.
And all those teams that
How do
about
you
all
teach
gas,
kids
no
to show up
breaks? You better have the
when it's
emergency
not
number to
athletic?
pull
How do you
a
teach
case.
them to show up when it's not about
You played for
They
African
put
American
themselves in the tough
I think
spot
the
with
thing that was
interception.
best about
And
playing
now
for
with
Mike
6
T
seconds
is
remaining,
being
they're
able
gonna
to
burn
walk
their
into
final
an
timeout.
office and be honest.
Yeah.
Be honest about what I feel. Be honest about what I saw.
So from
be honest
inside
about
the 20, here's
what I
first and
felt
10
was
at
the
the
solution.
18.
And have somebody look at me
Back
and
to
be able to
throw.
understand the
Murray.
perspective in which that came from. We all know
Gets
as
this to
men,
Moore.
there's
And
not
he'll
going to be
be out of
100% of
bounds
the things
near
that
the 30.
either of you
In
tell
fact,
me that I
right
agree
on the
with.
30.
But if I can
Here we
say,
are in the
Chan,
fourth
like, I
quarter,
don't
partner, and watch them
agree with
drive
you,
for
but I
what would be a
understand.
go-ahead
And that was
touchdown.
what always Mike
And you
T
and I
could tell me.
both know
Because he always
this
had
is
the
where you
last
need a
decision, right?
quarterback who can
But I
keep his
always
cool
walked
back
out of the
there,
office
not
feeling
just
like
for
he hurt me.
himself, but
which was the most important for me because I understood the structure of football. You know, and I think when Channing asked you about being an HBCU coach, and we talked about that earlier, I think that's the thing kids could get